my gosh. Come here, you two. Thank you so much for coming back and doing this with us tonight. Have a seat, get comfortable. Okay, so I have to tell you, since your interview with Kelly aired 2 days ago, the entire world has gone absolutely bananas. People cannot stop talking about you.
It's been completely overwhelming, Jimmy. I'm not going to lie to you. We knew the announcement would cause some reaction and discussion, but we didn't expect it to become the #1 trending topic on every single social media platform around the world simultaneously. We've never experienced anything like this in 800 years.
We were prepared for conversation and some discussion, but we weren't prepared for the sheer volume and intensity of the response from every corner of the planet. It's been incredible. It's been supportive. It's been challenging, and it's been absolutely exhausting trying to read and process all of the reactions coming in.
I bet it has been. Okay, so I want to show you guys something that my team put together. We actually compiled a whole bunch of reactions from social media about your interview. Can we roll a clip real quick? Check this out. This is what people are saying about you online. Mrs. Claus is literally every woman who's been doing all the work while her husband gets the credit. I felt that in my soul. Okay, but can we talk about how Santa just admitted he has anxiety and depression? That's the most important thing a man can do. King behavior. My daughter just asked if she can dress up as Mrs. Claus for Halloween, and I'm literally crying right now. This is ridiculous. Santa is Santa. You can't just change Christmas because of feelings. This PC culture has gone too far. I've been married for 30 years, doing everything while my husband plays golf. Mrs. Claus just gave me the courage to speak up. Thank you. Video ends. So there's obviously a whole range of reactions there, right? What's going through your minds as you're watching that? Because you've got people who are incredibly supportive and inspired, and then you've got people who are really angry and upset about this change. How are you processing all of that?
It's fascinating and humbling to see how our very personal story has resonated with so many people across so many different demographics, backgrounds, and life experiences around the world. The support has been genuinely moving to both of us. But I'd be dishonest if I said the negative reactions don't sting a little bit.
What surprises me most is how many women have reached out personally to share their own stories of invisible labor and feeling completely unappreciated in their relationships or workplaces. I thought our situation was unique to the North Pole, but apparently millions of women around the world see themselves in my story. That's heartbreaking and empowering.
It really is both of those things at the same time. And I have to say, as someone who's been married for a while now, watching your interview actually made me think about my own relationship completely differently. Like, I went home that night and asked my wife if there's stuff she does that I don't give her credit for. And spoiler alert, there's a lot. There's so much. She had a whole list ready. It was like she'd been waiting for me to ask for years. So thank you for that very humbling conversation I had to have with my wife because of you two.
That's exactly the kind of honest conversation we were hoping to spark with this, Jimmy. Not just about Christmas, but about partnerships everywhere, about really seeing each other fully, about sharing credit and responsibility equally. If our struggle helps even one couple communicate better, then going public with all of this was worth it.
That's beautiful, man. That's really beautiful. Okay, so I want to ask about something specific that I think is fascinating. Mrs. Claus, in the Kelly Clarkson interview, you talked about feeling invisible for decades, right? But now you're literally the most visible person on the entire planet right now. How does that feel?
It's
absolutely both terrifying and exciting at the same time, Jimmy. And sometimes I swing between scared and excited within the same 5-minute period. For 800 years, I've worked behind the scenes, and I was comfortable there. I knew my role. I knew my responsibilities. Stepping into this spotlight is like learning to walk again. But there's also something incredibly liberating about finally being seen after all this time. Yesterday, a little girl sent me a letter. Not to Santa, but to me specifically. She said, "Dear Mrs. Claus, my mom works really hard and nobody says thank you. Can you tell her I see her?" That's when I knew this visibility really matters.
Oh, wow, that's making me emotional right now. That's so beautiful and powerful. Okay, and Santa, how are you handling watching your wife become this massive global phenomenon? Because I imagine that's a pretty big adjustment for you too, seeing her getting all this attention when you've been the famous one for literally forever.
Honestly, Jimmy, it's been one of the most beautiful and meaningful experiences of our entire marriage. Watching her shine like this, watching the world finally see what I've always seen in her, watching her confidence grow every single day. I'm not losing anything in this process. I'm watching the person I love finally get everything she deserves.
Dude, that's like the most romantic thing I've ever heard anyone say on this show. Can we just appreciate that for a second? That's incredible. Okay, so I want to lighten things up a little bit now because we are on late night television after all, and I like to have fun. I actually prepared a special game for you guys tonight. Are you up for playing a quick game with me? It's called Santa Says or Mrs. Claus Says. You ready?
Oh boy, this should be really interesting. I have a feeling this game is going to expose just how little I actually do. Yes, we're ready. Let's do it.
I'm a little nervous about where this is going, Jimmy, but I trust you. Let's play the game and see what happens.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to read some Christmas facts and operations, and you have to tell me who's actually responsible for making them happen every year. Is it Santa or is it Mrs. Claus? Let's start with an easy one to warm up. Who plans the delivery route for Christmas Eve every single year?
That's all her, 100%. I couldn't plan a route to save my life anymore, honestly. She's been doing that for at least 200 years, maybe even longer than that. She's got algorithms and weather patterns and time zone calculations and traffic analysis. It's like NASA-level planning every single year without fail.
Mrs. Claus for the win. Okay, next question. Who actually decides which kids are on the nice list versus the naughty list? Because I think everyone assumes that's Santa, right?
That's me too, actually, and it has been for a very long time. We have a whole committee of elves who do the initial assessments and gather data, but I make all the final calls and difficult decisions. It's not as simple as just good or bad behavior. We consider family situations, mental health, difficult circumstances. It's actually the hardest part of my job.
Wow, I did not know that. That's fascinating. Okay, here's an important one. Who eats all the cookies that get left out on Christmas Eve? Because that's a lot of cookies we're talking about here.
Oh, that's definitely me. No question about it. That's actually one of my absolute favorite parts of the entire night. Although I've had to cut back recently because of the health issues my doctor diagnosed. But in my prime years, I could easily put away thousands and thousands of cookies in one night. Chocolate chip were always my weakness.
I believe that. I would do the same thing. Okay, who came up with the idea originally of Santa wearing a red suit instead of the traditional green that he used to wear way back in the day?
That was actually a collaborative decision that we made together back in the 1800s. But I was the one who really pushed hard for the red because it photographed better and was much more visible against white snow. Santa wanted to stick with traditional green because it was what we'd always done. But I convinced him that evolution isn't betrayal.
Evolution isn't betrayal. Oh my God, that needs to be on a t-shirt immediately. I love that phrase so much. Okay, last question, and this is the biggest one of all. Who actually drives the sleigh and controls the reindeer on Christmas Eve night?
Well, historically that's been me for centuries, obviously. Everyone knows that. But this year it's going to be her for the first time ever. And I have to tell you, Jimmy, I've been watching her do practice runs and test flights, and she's absolutely incredible at it. She's honestly a better pilot than I ever was. The reindeer respond better to her.
Wait, really? The reindeer actually like her better than you? That's amazing. Tell me more about that.
Rudolph has actually been one of Mrs. Claus's biggest supporters through this entire transition process. He came to me privately about a month ago and said he thought it was time for new energy and fresh leadership. He told me he loves me, but he's genuinely excited about the change. That conversation meant the world to me, honestly.
Rudolph is absolutely wonderful and has been so supportive. He's been helping me understand all the team dynamics and giving me really valuable advice on how to communicate with each reindeer individually. They all have very different personalities and needs and communication styles. He's been an incredible mentor, and I'm very grateful to him for his support and guidance.
I love that so much. Rudolph is like the supportive best friend in this whole story. That's perfect. Okay, I want to talk about something more serious for a minute, if that's okay. Santa, you opened up about struggling with anxiety and depression. As someone who's also dealt with anxiety myself, thank you so much for talking about that publicly and honestly. What made you decide to be so open and vulnerable about something that a lot of men especially have trouble talking about? Because that takes real courage to do, especially at your level of fame and visibility in the world.
Thank you for sharing that about yourself, Jimmy. That means a lot coming from you, and I appreciate your vulnerability too. I decided to be completely honest because I realized that hiding my struggle wasn't just hurting me, it was hurting everyone around me who loved me. And if Santa Claus can't ask for help, what message does that send to everyone else? I've had people reach out and tell me that hearing me talk openly about therapy and taking medication made them finally decide to get help themselves after years of suffering. A father wrote me and said he'd been suffering in silence for years because he thought admitting depression meant he wasn't a good dad. My story gave him permission to heal.
Man, that's so powerful. That's really, really powerful and important. And I think that's what makes this story so much bigger than just being about Christmas, you know? This is about mental health. It's about partnership. It's about women being seen and valued. It's about letting people help you when you're struggling. Those are universal human things that affect everyone.
Exactly right, Jimmy. You've hit the nail on the head. Christmas is just the vehicle for this much larger conversation, but the real story is about how we treat each other, how we value each other's contributions, and how we support each other through the most difficult times. If a fairy tale can help real people have real conversations, then maybe fairy tales matter more than we think.
I love that perspective so much. Okay, so I have to ask the question that everyone watching wants to know the answer to right now. Mrs. Claus, are you nervous at all about Christmas Eve? This is the biggest night of the year. Billions of kids depending on you. That's got to be pretty intense pressure to handle.
Of course I'm nervous. Anyone who says they wouldn't be nervous about that kind of massive responsibility is either lying or completely delusional. But I'm also prepared, very prepared. I've been training intensively for months. I know every single route by heart. I've done all the test runs successfully. I've studied historical weather patterns extensively. I've worked with the reindeer team constantly. And here's the thing that keeps me grounded through all the nerves. I've been doing the hardest parts of Christmas for decades already. The logistics, the planning, the crisis management, the problem solving. The actual delivery is just the public-facing part of the operation. I've been ready for this for a very long time. I just didn't realize it until recently.
That confidence is amazing. I love hearing that. And Santa, what's your specific role going to be on Christmas Eve? What are you going to be doing while she's out there flying around the world delivering presents to all the children?
I'll be at North Pole headquarters, monitoring absolutely everything in real time. We have sophisticated tracking systems, communication systems, weather monitoring, emergency protocols, backup plans. I'll be there supporting her remotely, ready to help immediately with any problems that come up unexpectedly. Think of me as mission control, while she's the astronaut doing the actual mission in space. And honestly, Jimmy, I'm genuinely excited about it. For the first time in 800 years of doing this, I get to experience Christmas Eve from a completely different perspective. I get to watch the magic happen and appreciate the beauty instead of being so caught up in doing everything that I miss seeing how beautiful it all is.
That's such a cool and positive way to look at it. Like you're getting to see Christmas with completely fresh eyes after all this time. Okay, before we run out of time here, I want to give you both a chance to say something directly to camera to everyone who's watching and following your story right now. Mrs. Claus, what do you want people to know?
I want people to know that it's never too late to step into your power and claim what's yours. It's never too late to say, I deserve recognition for what I do. It's never too late to completely transform your life. I'm over 800 years old, and I'm just now becoming the person I was always meant to be. If I can do it, anyone can.
That's so beautiful and inspiring. Santa, what about you? What do you want to say to everyone watching right now?
I want people to know that asking for help is strength, not weakness at all. That letting someone else shine brightly doesn't diminish your own light. That evolution and change are how we grow as individuals and as partners. And that the most loving thing you can do for someone is step aside and let them become everything they're capable of being without holding them back.
You guys are making me cry on my own show right now. This is not okay. I'm supposed to be the funny guy. Okay, so before you go, we need to talk about what happens next in your story, because here's what makes your story different from any other story I've ever covered. The audience gets to vote on what you actually do. So what's the question this week that people get to vote on?
The question this week is about my name, actually, and my identity. A lot of people have been asking in comments and messages if I'm going to keep being called Mrs. Claus or if I want my own separate identity. So we're asking people, should I keep the name Mrs. Claus or should I create my own separate identity?
Oh, wow, that's huge. That's a massive decision that's going to affect everything going forward. Okay, everybody listening, here's what you need to do right now. Go to the comments below this video immediately and vote on this important question. Comment the letter A if you think she should keep the name Mrs. Claus and redefine what that name means. Comment the letter B if you think she should create her own separate identity with a completely new name. Your votes will literally determine what happens next in their story and how Christmas evolves.
And we want you to know that we're really listening carefully to what people have to say. The comments, the votes, the conversations people are having online. All of it genuinely matters to us as we figure out together what the future of Christmas looks like. You're part of this journey with us, not just observers.
I love that so much. Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, thank you so much for being here tonight and for being so open and honest and vulnerable with us and with everyone watching. This has been such an incredible conversation.
Thank you so much for having us here tonight, Jimmy. This was wonderful, and we really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having us here tonight, Jimmy. This was wonderful, and we really appreciate you.
Make sure you go vote in the comments right now. A, for keeping Mrs. Claus. B, for creating a new identity. And subscribe to this channel so you don't miss episode 3 coming up next.